Hello there and welcome to the Bicycle Diaries. Well, it's another slow start for me this week. It's already Thursday and I've only done one ride this week, so I think I haven't had a start this slow since probably December or even January or something like that. The one ride I have done this week, I did my usual Bevis's Thumb up to the top of Harting, turned around on myself and then I rode back down the hill again through the villages of Compton, Westbourne, Rowlands Castle and then home. All in all, it was 40 kilometres on my super sexy new wheels and I really did enjoy it, but since then I appear to have lost a little bit of motivation. When I got to the top of Harting Hill, I stopped at my usual rest point, but it was very different to the last time I was up there, which was at the height of lockdown about 6 weeks ago. Back then, obviously there were far fewer cars on the road and it was completely silent. The only sound I could hear was the wind in the trees and the birds' song, and it kind of reminded me of something, although I couldn't quite put my finger on what. And it was only a little bit later that I realised that it actually reminded me of a couple of days that I spent filming inside the exclusion zone at Chernobyl. Obviously it's a very, very remote location, very few people around and incredibly eerie. Again, all I could hear was silence, the wind in the trees and the bird song. Now obviously the COVID restrictions and lockdown here in the UK at least are being eased and the country is sort of returning to normal, and I'm just sort of reflecting on that a little bit. Obviously 4 months ago we were in a severe lockdown and we were only allowed out for one exercise session a day, and actually that was quite a boost to my cycling because I was able to get out. Far fewer cars on the road, so it was a lot safer. The air quality was much better, the weather was fantastic, and it was absolutely an amazing time to ride a bike. Fast forward now, and on the one hand, yes, it's great that the country's returning to normal, businesses are getting back to normal, and obviously far fewer people are suffering with COVID, but yeah, it was a great time to ride a bike. Like I say, I'm lacking a little bit of motivation at the moment and I can't quite put my finger on why that is. Now, partly could be due to the weather, although as you can see at the moment it's not too bad. It's not amazingly sunny, it's a little bit overcast, a bit windy and a bit on the cool side, but it's dry and reasonable weather for cycling. So yeah, I just can't work out why. I just don't have the motivation at the moment. But then we all go through that from time to time and it's nothing really to worry about. And I think all you can do under the circumstances are, give yourself a few days off, enjoy something else, go and do something else, and then hopefully when you feel fit and ready for it, you'll get back on the bike and enjoy your cycling again. But who knows, I may even get out this evening and do 30 kilometres on the Southwark route or the Buns, Bent and Hoe route, and I've also got an appointment tomorrow to go and see my cycling chum Tell. He's got a rather exciting idea to put to me, and if it's as good as I think it is, I think a lot of you will be interested in it as well. Quick update on my Kuru cycling computer. Now, if you're watching this vlog a couple of weeks ago, you'll know that I was having an issue with my Kuru rattling around in the mount and I was afraid of it falling out and smashing into a million pieces. Well, long story short, that was all down to the foot on the back of the Kuru being a little bit worn out. But unfortunately for me, the complication was that I'd been a little bit clumsy with an Allen key and I'd managed to burr the head on the Allen bolt and I was unable to remove it. Basically what I had to do was cut a groove in the old bolt and then I was able to remove it with a screwdriver and then replace it with the new foot that Hammer had sent me under warranty. Now that it's all fixed, it sits nice and comfortably in the hammerhead mount that I have on my Trek. It doesn't rattle around, it's nice and secure, and that's absolutely fantastic. The problem though comes when I want to use it on my Cannondale. Now the Kuru just uses a standard Garmin quarter turn mount, and I've got loads of those, but the problem is that the Kuru's quite long and the Garmin mounts are quite short. So I went down to my local Evans and looked for a suitable one, and the only one I could find was £75 or $100, and I thought, no, that's just way out of my price league at the moment. So then I remembered that I had a cheaper £10 mount that I bought from Halfords a little while ago, so I dug that out of a dusty corner of the back of my Aladdin's junkyard of a garage and fitted it onto my Cannondale. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to replace the foot on the Kuru was so that I could install the lanyard, and that's basically a safety device to stop it from falling off any mount that might snap, or if it falls out of the mount due to being loose. Now, although the Kuru does wobble about quite a bit in this cheaper Halfords mount, I'm hoping that should the worst happen, the lanyard would save it, and I'm not being £10 clever and £75 stupid, although if you take the price of the Kuru into account, that's far more than that. I've come down to Southsea bright and early this morning to meet up with my cycling chum Tel, who's going to tell me all about pop-up cycling groups, and hopefully we'll go out for a ride. This is my cycling chum Tel, and as you can see, he's in desperate need of a haircut. He's also the founder of the Southsea Cycling Pop-Up group. Now, if you don't know what a cycling pop-up group is, it's an internet thing where you can put out a call for local like-minded people who want to ride in a group, yet for one reason or another don't want to ride within a formal cycling club. Another reason for doing it informally like this is that you're free from the rules that govern formal cycling clubs, so you don't have to be affiliated to things like British Cycling, and you don't have any of the fees associated with that. It's all very casual, you turn up when you want, you ride where you want, and you ride at a pace you want, so it suits just about everybody. The emphasis for Tel's group is purely to have fun and just enjoy cycling, and he meets every Friday morning down on Southsea seafront. That's the busy road out of Portsmouth done. We rode out on the cycle path, which was obviously a lot nicer than the road. Now we're on another little very quiet cycle path that's running alongside the main motorway, the M27 that runs north of Portsmouth. The plan today is to head to a little cafe on Hayling Island where we'll just have a quick refreshment stop and then head back into Portsmouth because Tel's got a haircut at 12 o'clock. This is an amazing little cycle path. Even though we are literally only about 10 metres from the motorway on our left, on our right hand side we've got a stunning nature reserve. We've come off the cycle path and we're now cycling on a relatively quiet little road on an industrial estate leading into Havant. There's 8 of us on this ride, and if you're wondering about the COVID thing, we're all riding
with social distancing in 2 groups of 4, and the ability level of the group is quite wide. There's people who have only been riding for a couple of weeks, and then there's people who've been riding for years, and we all kind of wait for each other at the turns. Now we've just weaved our way through a little housing area to pick up another cycle path called the Billy Trail, which runs along the lines of an old railway line down into Hayling Island. I'm back on the road that I normally cycle on now. Oh, but I don't normally do this, taking the actual cycle path over the bridge. Like the cafe's a little too busy, and Tell's a bit worried about getting back to Portsmouth in time to have his hair cut, so we're going somewhere that's hopefully a little bit quieter.
All in all, it was a very pleasant morning on the bike. I had a nice little ride out and I met some fantastic people. Tell was telling me that it's very easy to set up your own pop-up cycling group, but the trick is to use the name of the town or the area where you want it located and the word cycling. That way it's much easier to find when people are looking for it on things like the internet and Facebook. You'll be also very pleased to hear that Tell made it back to Portsmouth in plenty of time to have his hair cut. And with that, this week I've ridden 100 kilometres, I've got 4 hours and 42 minutes of seat time, and I've climbed 566 metres. And that brings the year's total to 3,249 kilometres ridden, 141 hours and 15 minutes of seat time, and I've climbed 19,479 metres. So if we go over to Strava, we can see that on Monday my fitness score was 57, on Thursday it was 56, and on Friday it was 55. I really like the idea of these informal pop-up cycling groups Many of us ride alone, particularly those that have just started cycling, and it's a great way of getting out there and finding some like-minded people. It's also a fantastic way of improving your overall average speed, because as we know, the best way to do that is to ride with people that are slightly faster than you. All in all, for me personally, it's not been the longest week on the bike, but hopefully I'll be getting some of my motivation back. The weather next week isn't looking too bad. It's looking nice and sunny for the first half and then clouding over for the latter half, but hopefully I'll be able to get out there and do some longer rides to improve my endurance, as well as the shorter, faster rides for speed and strength. Thanks for watching.